Hi, I'm GIN MINSKY. I am a tap dancer, a burlesque performer, and a sword swallower based here in Brooklyn, New York. I first got my start on the stage at 5 years old in my small town of Massachusetts, where I studied dance for my entire life, for my entire childhood. I studied tap, jazz, ballet, point, modern. Truth be told, tap was actually my least favorite subject. I wanted to be a modern dancer. I was very serious, and I thought that was what I was going to do. I thought tap was very silly and frivolous, and it wasn't until university that I really grew to appreciate the art form. There I met Kristen Minsky, who some of you may know as my other half in the Minsky Sisters, and I also met Dandy Wellington, who some of you may also know. I knew him before he was Dandy Wellington. The three of us, we bonded over our love of movie musicals. We discovered the vintage scene together, and when Kristen and I started to form the Minsky Sisters and started performing, Dandy actually choreographed the first few numbers of ours. And from there, Kristen and I, the Minsky Sisters, we started performing all over the New York nightlife scene. And within nightlife, we were a part of a lot of burlesque shows and variety shows, and we saw lots and lots of striptease numbers and sideshow performers, and it opened me up to this whole world. When Kristen had to move to Providence a few years into our career, Shen Lee of Dances of Vice asked me, hey, do you want to do a solo performance? And my first thought was, oh yeah, I'll just do a tap and strip. And that was my entrance into the burlesque world. I actually didn't even have a second thought about it. It was just second nature to just do this number. I had spent so much time watching burlesque and with burlesque performers and talking to them about their craft that it was something very easy for me just to transition into. A lot of people do ask, though, how do I get into burlesque? And my biggest suggestion is sign up for some classes with the New York School of Burlesque. I know it's very hard right now because everything is virtual. However, they're teaching some really great virtual classes. I highly recommend Jezebel Express. She's an amazing teacher. She's been teaching for many years and has put many burlesque stars on the stage. I highly recommend it. And when the world opens back up, just see as much burlesque as you can. Study your history, know the burlesque legends of the past, and know the burlesque legends of the current time, and know who's on the stage and who's doing what, and go out there, meet people, talk to people, and that's the best way to get into this world. And some people ask, why sword swallowing? How did you get into sword swallowing? And as I mentioned, in nightlife, I had exposure to all these different art forms, and some of that was sword swallowing and sideshow. And someone I really looked up to and admired was a sideshow performer by the name of Todd Robbins. Todd is an amazing performer. He's a ragtime piano player, a magician, and eats light bulbs and sword swallows, but he does it with an air of elegance, and I really admired that. He can take something really disgusting like hammering a nail into his nose or swallowing a blade of steel and does it in a three-piece suit, very elegant, and I just loved that juxtaposition. And as you can see, my aesthetic is high glamour, and I really wanted to see how I could marry those two together and do it in my style. So Todd was very generous and taught me everything he knows, and it took me a solid year to learn the art of sword swallowing. I do not recommend it. It's very difficult and not easy. There's a lot of gagging and dry heaving involved when you're starting. But a year later, I put it on stage for the first time, and here I am now. I think the world's only tapping, stripping sword swallower.
dark eyes in my dreams. I was sad, it seems, and the sky turned gray when you came my way. All at once I knew the sky